everyone. It's great to be with you on this Kairos podcast. My name is Phil Morrison. I am from Northern Ireland and I am sitting in my garden in Belfast. I am a member of the Servants of the Word, an ecumenical missionary brotherhood, and I'm a member of the Kairos community here in Belfast. And I work with university students in UCO as well as for Kairos in the region. And today we're going to look at Mark chapter 6. Mark chapter 6 is packed with so many encounters of the Lord. It starts with rejection. It starts with Jesus being rejected in his hometown, where they say, "Who is this? Is this not the carpenter? How can he say these things?" Then the disciples are sent on mission. We see the disciples being sent out 2 by 2 and experiencing real success in mission. We have an account of John the Baptist and the death of John the Baptist by beheading. Jesus' cousin, we see death and grief. We see outrageous provision in the feeding of the 5,000, and we see miraculous healing, continually the transformation of people's lives. So in this context of rejection, success in mission, death and grief, outrageous provision, miraculous healing, I want us to look at this passage today. So this is Mark chapter 6, verses 30 to 34 and 53 to 56. The apostles gathered round Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret and anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout that whole region and carried those who were ill on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into villages, towns, or countryside, they placed those who were ill in the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. In this account, one of the main verses that really strikes me is verse 34. It said, "When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd." When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. My best friend growing up had sheep. His dad was a farmer, and most weekends when I was with him, we would spend Saturday on the farm, and we'd go and look after the sheep that day. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being out and with all the animals. Looking after sheep involved many things. Firstly, it involved counting the sheep, making sure they were all where they were supposed to be in the right field. And I found that incredibly difficult. It wasn't just my numeracy skills as a kid, but sheep look very similar. And whenever they're all bunched up in a big group, or they're just running around you, it's quite difficult. So that always took me a long time. Then we'd feed the sheep. We'd feed them with some grain or something like that. And then occasionally we'd move them from one field to another so that they'd be able to get grass and have enough food. And some of my most vivid memories of doing this was when a sheep was ill and we'd need to treat it in various ways and give it medicine. and generally just caring for the sheep, seeing when one's by itself, it might need some help, or in those days. And so it was normally quite a busy day's work, one which I greatly enjoyed. Also, every time we did it, we always got ice cream afterwards, which I also greatly enjoyed as well. But there are qualities of a shepherd. A shepherd stays with the sheep. Shepherd protects the sheep, provides for the sheep, guides the sheep, cares for the sheep. And here, as we look at Jesus as being the true shepherd, Jesus' response to the crowd isn't annoyance or frustration. We know how busy it's been for him, for the disciples. They're trying to get rest, and they come and they land. But Jesus' response for the people he sees is one of great compassion. He sees the multitude as a flock of sheep with no shepherd. Matthew 9, it talks about it, the people being harassed and helpless. And Jesus has come as our shepherd. Jesus has come as the one to lay down his life. Jesus has come as the one to guide, to lead, to provide, to protect. And in Jesus, God himself has come to care for the flock. And I was really struck personally by the many things going around, experienced in this chapter. The rejection, the success, the grief, the outrageous provision, the miraculous transforming healing. And in the midst of all of that, Jesus looks on his people and has great compassion for them. And in many times in my life, I've experienced that. I've experienced in the midst of the busyness of life, the midst of a rejection, or the midst of great success, in the midst of hard grief, experiencing the Lord's outrageous provision, or the transformative work of the Lord in my life. And so, an encouragement today, let's recognize the Lord as our shepherd. And I just want to end by reading a little bit from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.